too much about CKLA. I know it on a like foundational level, like a fundamental level, these pieces or whatever, but I do know teacher practice. So I do know how to take a teacher practice and say, look, go about doing it this way or whatever. That is a strength, and then I'm process oriented. So I'm putting a structure into something, because what I charge teachers is what to do when you don't know what to do. So that's why I got to teach y'all. Like, so when you don't know what to do, what are you gonna do? Okay, so I have some questions. You had those 4 kids that were on that sticky. So you remember that early dismissal day?
Yes, ma'am.
When I said, okay, y'all gotta push about 4 kids, right? So I looked at their data. So I said, let me see what Portia had. So I pulled those 4. And then you end up telling me in your text there were 2 who grew or whatever. So I pulled their data, and I want us just to talk briefly about the data, just to see what's what, and just to kind of see what our next steps were. So one of the ones I picked was the one you text me. What's that baby name? Tariana. Now, the reason why I picked her is she was one, when I was looking at the pieces of data, that some of what she struggled with is some of the same things that others struggle with. So I wanted to pick somebody, like, if we could just focus on this one kid, you can probably do it with your group of kids. So she wasn't like an outlier. She was like, whatever her little characteristics were, kind of was like what some of the other kids were doing. So first, just tell me, and I know you didn't have a copy of it, so just kind of tell me, talk to me about her DRA. So that's her last DRA. I think that's the March DRA.
Yes, ma'am.
So talk to me about that. Just tell me what do you notice about that?
A lot of her errors came from her sight words.
Okay.
Like the words like, the, and one of the other errors that two of the other errors that she had, she didn't actually look at the picture to make the connection to the word. Like with this, I like apples. In the picture, I'm sure they had a picture of an apple. She didn't use her strategy.
Okay.
And as well as I like ice cream.
Okay.
And I'm sure there was a picture of
so that eagle eye.
Yes, eagle eye and lips to fish.
Okay.
Those were the 2 strategies that she kind of shied away from using.
Okay.
When she did her DRA.
Okay.
Let's go a little bit further. She had those 5 errors.
Okay. She had those 5 errors. What do you know? She's at an independent 2. What does she need to get to that 3?
Maybe she need a little bit more sight word review, and maybe need to read those words in text.
Okay.
Or in phrases.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit more strategy work.
Okay.
Maybe having some cards with a picture on one side and the word on the other side, and maybe having her guess.
Okay. Do you know the difference between a 2 and a 3 assessment DRA?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now, in the grand scheme of things, and I'm gonna keep going back to this. Our DRA is like our end result. That's like our summative assessment. Even though we kind of benchmark a few times, that's letting us know they gotta get to here, and then we work our way backwards. So she gotta get to a 3 by the third 9 weeks. So what are characteristics of a 3 in DRA? Now that's what y'all probably kind of go over a little bit in clusters. So I'm just speaking in terms of that. But then there's another, because we kind of work backwards, and I want to make some connections with some things. So basically she didn't get to the 3 because of sight words, and then she didn't use that strategy to look at a picture and say ice cream or whatever the word is. Okay. And to move to 2 to 3, if I'm not mistaken, it's the same type of thing. I think it's just more text. So I think it may be another line or something like that. So it's the same type. It's just more text that she has to read. So she has that 1-to-1 and all of that. Use the eagle eye, whatever. So that's to get to the 2 to the 3. Now, when you look at data, there's other pieces too. Okay, so this is one piece, and this is our end result. This is our summative. Okay. What's another data piece we can look at?
I also brought in our assessment from CKLA,
Okay.
which had so many components to it. It had a word recognition component, lowercase letter name component, tricky word component, which they're working on in CKLA. They had a real word reading assessment, which was for the kids who didn't pass the word recognition assessment. And we also had a story reading piece.
And I looked at that. Like, out of everything, so I'm glad you bought that. Because out of all the pieces, when I was looking at it, I said, well, let me see how that aligns to CKLA. So this is kind of how, well, tell me first before how do you look at data from DRA to this? Like, what do you do when you're trying to figure out, this is a student need, so I can know how to address it?
Well, I would look at my assessment and, okay, you want to go through Tarialis. And we had the tricky word part. And the tricky word part are basically words that she's going to see in the DRA testing. And I will focus on the words that she got wrong and maybe get books from the library to help with my guided reading lesson that is rich with those words that she made.
Okay. So that was that tricky word assessment. Go back to this one. She did well?
Yes.
Okay, so she don't need help with this one. Lowercase, so she's fine with that.
She's
Her
fine.
letter name, so she struggled with tricky word assessment. How is she with blending and segmenting?
I'm going to say she's okay with it. When it comes to a word that maybe has too many letters, when she's like doing like stretchy snake, she gets a little hesitant and she kind of shuts down a little bit.
Okay. Your IGP had something about, it was I think the vowel team. Is that
With
what?
hers?
Yeah. I don't remember. Not with hers.
I don't think it was with
So it was like the more than 3 sounds when she tried to stretch a word out.
Yes, if it's more than 3 sounds. If it's 4, she may get it, just depending on the word. But if it's more than that, she...
So 3, she's solid.
Yes, she's solid with 3.
And you have evidence. 3,
Yes.
she's solid. 4, she struggles.
Yes.
What about 5?
She struggles with 5. as well.
Okay. What about, I remember us talking before the holidays. Tell me about this fast. So I printed her fast too. So this was her. So talk to me about the fast data.
Okay, with her fast data, okay. With letter sounds, she did great. I think it's onset sounds. She's a high risk with that. So I'm gonna say with the what's our strategy that we use? What is it? What's the name of the strategy? Oh, our walk, jog, and run words. So we've been working with her on like the onset sounds with that.
Okay.
And with word sense, I think that's what it is. She's high risk with that. So we basically just been working on her getting her sounds with her like 4-letter words and putting those sounds together.
Okay. Do you have enough evidence that shows where she breaks down with blending and segmenting?
I would think I do.
Like
because
evidence.
I keep like copies of their CKLA worksheets.
Okay, because I want to see that too.
Okay.
I want to see what that looks like
And I
as
kind of
far
brought
as.
something in, and then I kind of brought that in.
Okay. So
This
this
worksheet?
measured what?
Those with the, well, actually it went over the double consonants.
That's toward the end too, huh?
Yeah.
In units?
Yes.
Okay.
And it actually has those words with 4 sounds.
Do y'all ask them to say it or read it, or how does it?
Well, for the first page, I actually modeled 2 for them,
Okay.
and I let them do the rest of the page on their own independently. And I make them look at the picture, and you have to read the word in the box and put the word under the correct picture.
Okay. And this was after that. This unit, right? Because
Yes.
this was that big Kahuna unit.
Yes.
Y'all moved past this, right?
Yes, we're on Unit 9 right now.
Now, the curriculum, from what I understood about the curriculum, and help me with this, it said that if they didn't master up until Unit 8
Right.
to go back and reteach and reassess and read this. So where are you at with this? Because this is where she's struggling with.
It's
Right. Oh, that's not even that baby. Where's hers?
right here.
Okay. So she's still. So as a grade level, what did y'all do with this after y'all assessed the kids? Because this was the big kahuna. If they can master up until Unit 8, they're ready for first grade. They reteach, I think, Unit 9 and 10 at the beginning of first grade. I think that's what it looks like. So how did y'all figure this out for y'all as a grade level, or did you do anything individually?
I did
and it's
something
okay.
individually.
Like
I
okay.
did. Like during interventions, I go over those skills that they lack during unity.
Okay.
So during interventions, I might pull maybe 2 kids each day and go over like maybe a little skill that we had. I'll go over like a pausing point.
Okay.
With the kid from unity.
Okay. Do you keep a portfolio for your kids?
A written portfolio. I write
like
down
of their stuff, because I want to see hers. Like I want to
Okay.
see, because I'm trying to figure out, since she's the one who has a lot of similar deficits as the others, what is her thing? What is she actually struggling with? But I want to see it.
Okay.
I actually want to see it so we could try to figure out how we go about doing it. Because the big picture is the DRA, because that's how we assess. The FAST, where's FAST, is the diagnostic. So this basically tells us if she's at a 3, an independent 2, instructional 3, what's stopping her from getting to the 3. So this breaks it down even further. Okay, so she's on a DRA number. This is going to break it down even further. But the big thing for us, the big vehicle, is this, because this gets her to the 2, 3, the 4. So these are the assessment pieces I really want to pay attention to. Okay, so I'm gonna want to see that. Now, as far as support for you, next steps. Tell me, and I'm gonna jot it down. DRA. Tell me again what you said. DRA was. What was the breakdown in DRA?
With Tariana.
Just that one baby.
She struggled with her sight words.
Sight words.
And she struggled with her strategy, slip sufficiently.
Strategy. And FAST told you what?
FAST told me that she struggled with her onset sounds and word sense.